This is Rick Benbow, Regional Vice President for WGU Nevada, and welcome to another segment of our Fireside Chat. Today we're joined by Ashley Talbert, a WGU Portfolio Manager and Founder and Chair of WGU Mental Health and Wellness, ERG. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us today.
I appreciate being here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Really appreciate the time. Tell us about your role at WGU and how you founded the WGU Mental Health and Wellness ERG.
Sure. So I am currently a vendor portfolio manager here at WGU. I've been here 5 years now. And it's not the most glamorous of roles, but I find it very important. I'm considered a liaison between our third-party vendors that WGU partners with. And I'm the liaison between their work and our college teams to ensure that the products that they're offering are offering really great experiences for our students. And Open Minds for Wellness. We have been very blessed in the last 6 months. So that is an employee resource group for people who may not know that term. It's actually been around for many, many years, but only recently, I would say in the last several years, that it's gotten traction. We've been very fortunate to have had the opportunity to create such groups. They're typically for marginalized groups in organizations. So right now we currently have Pride Owls, which is our LGBTQ plus group. We have our Ebony Owls. We have our veterans group. And I think at this point we have about 11. But what I noticed was we didn't have a dedicated space for mental health and wellness. And that's really been a passion project of mine for the last 30 years. And so it was approved. And Open Minds for Wellness really focuses on mental health, mental wellness. And we have 3 really important goals that we really like to focus on. And the first one is we help create a safe and more inclusive work environment through the use of compassionate inquiry and respectful dialogue around mental health and wellness. And we do that through social connections. We have an incredible SharePoint site that has a lot of information and resources for people that are needing extra support. We have our team space that we use as our social networking and chat space, which is engaged on a regular basis. And then we've incorporated a lot of other activities. And one of the things that I'm really proud about is called an empathy circle. And that's something where people who have shared experiences or lived experiences can mentor those that may be struggling with certain issues. And it's a very intimate, safe space where people feel that they can really show up as their true authentic selves and gain support and really feel that they can talk about these things at work. So the second goal is to highlight WGU's benefits and initiatives geared toward improved mental wellness. And I would say in the last couple of years, we have really grown leaps and bounds in this area. And I'm just so proud of the work that we're doing. We've partnered with a company called Sonic Boom Wellness, which is a health and wellness hub. It's incorporating social network for collaboration. We have friendly competitions. There's clinical tools to help manage your mental health. It's just an increasingly collaborative space that just provides a lot of tools for people to be able to manage their health on their own. And then we've also, with our EAP, we've incorporated Support Link, which is another organization that provides resources and support for numerous health and lifestyle issues. So it's great. And then our third goal is to provide support opportunities and plan community events to help our employees better manage and take care of their mental health and wellness. So we invite a lot of thought leaders in the space of mental health and wellness. And I would say last month we had an incredible speaker. Her name was Abby Medcalf. She was well received. I highly recommend you go watch the recording. She was amazing. We had so many people in attendance. She's a TED Talk expert. She's an author and she has a PhD in counseling. And her talk was about thriving in 2021. And she talked about pandemic fatigue. And that is something that I think we all are relating to, whether or not we feel that we struggle with mental health issues or not. I mean, just stress in itself has really created a need for us to be able to share our experiences at work. So just, there's a lot of things that are going on, new things in the works. We do a lot of mindfulness training, which is really important. We always start our openings with a little mini mindfulness meditation. We do breath work. It's been really well received, and we're just getting started. We've only been around for about 5 months right now, but we have a lot of things in the works. So really excited to see what we're going to plan on doing for the rest of the year.
Sounds fantastic. Just wanted to maybe circle back to your work with students.
Sure.
The WGU component of mental wellness and health for students, there's a component of that within WGU?
We're in the works of developing that. There is something that we have been doing the last 2 years, and that would be our social, emotional, and learning initiative. And Hillary Simon is amazing. She's a one-man show right now. She is running that initiative by herself, and that's kind of integrating social and emotional topics and behaviors to help students understand and self-reflect on their emotions and where they are in their lives, and how to be centered, and how to realize that having those awareness of competencies, of self-regulation, where are you in your body, where are you in your mind? So those types of things right now are definitely, we're trying to integrate those into the curriculum with students. But one of the things that we've been, Jason Thompson, who is our head of the diversity, equity, and inclusion space, he had mentioned that it would be really nice to be able to have a second arm of our ERGs that kind of extends student facing. And so we're in the process right now of trying to create a community that would be student led and be moderated actually by colleagues or staff members at WGU, but it would be student led, so they'd be able to have tools and resources outside of our internal ERG, so that they can benefit from the things that we're learning as a culture within WGU, how to manage pandemic fatigue, how to manage stress and anxiety, and to really be able to identify when you are struggling and have a support network surrounding you so that you don't feel alone. So that's in the works too.
And every day I learn something new about WGU, and I am every day I'm just even more proud and humbled to be part of such an organization that is extending the benefits of changing lives for the better by developing or creating pathways to opportunity. I mean, we really live that mantra, and it's just refreshing to see that we are extending those benefits that we have for employees out to students. And I've just been kind of following the educational trend through this pandemic. I have 2 young daughters who I've been trying to monitor and their mental and mental wellness and health, as well as my own. Yeah. And being part of such an organization that cares about its employees the way that WGU does. I mean, I am just honored and humbled to be a part of such a wonderful, wonderful organization. So
we're very mission driven, and I will tell you, I've been in the educational space for 30 years, and it's the first time that I truly feel that we are, walking the walk and talking the talk. We really, really are mission driven, and it shows with what we've been able to do with outreach with our students. It's an incredible experience, and I'm really blessed to be a part of it.
Absolutely. And as I've tried to maybe dig in deeper, right? We're already on the cutting edge in terms of how we deliver education and the speed to completion and an affordable, flexible, accessible way. The equity work that we're doing out in the field. I think this is also the cutting edge of being able to provide these mental and wellness health services to our students. As I kind of look through chats and kind of see what trends or what topics are being discussed. And you think about the traditional pathway for some of these students, the stress of having to pass the SAT, the stress of waiting for that dream school, having to graduate in 4 or 5 years, when then looking at all that debt and then not knowing whether or not you have an opportunity for a job. That absolutely what we're discovering now through this pandemic is impacting students, going forward. And I mean, the WGU model seems to maybe alleviate some of those, obviously eliminates all the barriers to higher education, but maybe starts to eliminate some of the barriers and the stress and some of the unintended consequences of just having that one traditional pathway to higher education. So thank you so much for all that you're doing and paving the way for a new way to deliver and attain higher education.
I couldn't agree more. And the fact that I just wanted to piggyback on what you said. You know, we've always been a pioneer in competency-based education. And what we've seen in the last year, especially, is, you know, there are alternate ways that people really, really need to develop new skills, and they may not need a traditional bachelor's or master's. So we've kind of pivoted a little bit, and we're offering things such as micro-credentialing, stackable credentials, certification programs, which really offers people career readiness skills, whether or not they want to get a promotion in their job, or maybe they want to switch careers, but they don't necessarily have to go back and get another degree. So yeah, it's incredibly a great time.
Yeah, and all those things you discuss, again, bring us back to a well-balanced mentally health, well-being of not only a productive student, but also maybe a productive employee and productive member of society. And just really wanted to maybe touch back on your career growth and your career path at WG. I apologize for taking us off the road there.
No,
but
it's okay.
Something that I thought was just very enlightening, but again, emphasizes WGU's innovation as it relates to this space. What was your career path, and how does it intersect with mental health?
So I originally wanted to be a psychologist, and that stems from the fact that I did struggle with anxiety as a teen and in college. And I eventually did get a bachelor's degree in psychology. And then life happens as it always does. And I actually left the country for several years, and I moved to the Philippines, and I lived in the Philippines for 3 years. I lived in Mexico and Spain, and it was a wonderful experience. It really changed my perspective on just different types of cultures and different people, and not thinking that, America is the only way to do life. And when I came back, it was a little bit of a struggle for me because I had only had my bachelor's at that time, and I felt like I had lost several years in the job marketplace, and I really wanted to have an opportunity to go back and get an advanced degree that would help me kind of move forward in my career. And I really kind of wanted to focus on psychology, but a friend recommended an incredible program that was a master's degree program in curriculum and education, which kind of included a teaching credential. So it was a condensed program. So instead of maybe 3 or 4 years to complete, it took 2 years. So I graduated with a master's and a teaching credential. And I, just because of my wanting to help people, and that's just always been my nature, I originally started in education as a teacher. And about after 5 years, I became a school principal. And while I was in that space, always in the back of my mind, thinking of mental health and how our students were struggling, how can I help, change the lives of students with mental health in an educational environment? And so I really started researching social emotional learning. And that was something that I was able to develop programs within the educational space. Things happened. I had been with an organization for 10 years. I felt like I was outgrowing it a little bit. And I discovered WGU. And I was really impressed with the mission, really impressed in the interview process. I just felt like the people that I had met were so genuine, so happy to be a part of such a community. And I thought, whatever way I can get my foot in the door, I will. And so I am a vendor portfolio manager, but my passion project is this ERG space. And again, wanting to share my lived experience with other people. I've been very open about it. And I found in my previous iterations of my career, a lot of people were afraid to talk about it. They were afraid to talk about vulnerabilities that they had because they were worried about maybe not getting that promotion, or other people would see them differently, or maybe they were the only ones feeling that they were struggling. And when I would talk to my colleagues behind the scenes, they would confide in me and saying, they were struggling just as I had been, and they wish that they had an outlet or some sort of community, safe space in the work environment. And I will tell you, since we have created this ERG, I've actually had people come up to me and tell me that they have shared more in our ERG, Open Minds for Wellness space at work than they have with some of their family members. they feel safer to be able to share that at work. And they never thought that would be a possibility. So I just feel so blessed that, you know, we've always been an open and diverse organization, and we celebrate that, and we walk the walk and talk the talk. And we're changing lives from the inside and out in all areas. And it's really exciting to see. It's really exciting to see.
Absolutely. And you just kind of maybe took me down memory lane in my journey to WGU. And you're absolutely right. That when you walk into the building, I mean, everybody is smiling from ear to ear, and, you know, very committed to the mission, very student centric. And it is amazing how I think my mindset has changed and evolved from one of, like you said, looking for that promotion, looking for those accolades from a personal standpoint, but being at WGU, we're so focused on impacting others.
Right.
To me, that was the mind shift that I kind of gone through, where my success is really about being able to help other people. And you're not doing it alone. We have the entire organization. It was 8,000 employees behind you, all carrying out the mission. So thank you for all that you're doing with the employee resource group. And I think it just, again, helps re-emphasize and cultivate that passion of being part of such a mission-driven organization. So thank you for all that you do. And before we go, one last question.
Sure.
As far as your view of WGU and what you have been doing thus far, what changes have you seen over the last couple of years, and why have they been so significant? We touched on a little bit earlier, but sure, just to sum it up real quickly for our audience.
Sure. So WGU is progressive in many ways, and we are constantly changing, and we are constantly learning about things that can enhance our performance and create a safe space for our students and for our employees. I would say in the last several years, one of the major things that I've been very proud of is, you know, the development of our diversity, equity, and inclusion space. Like I said, we've always been an inclusive organization, but the rigor and the passion at which these programs are really being integrated within our daily lives. You know, we feel as a family at WGU, we can bring our authentic selves to work. And, you know, again, with the advent of the ERG programs, the other thing is, again, and I had touched upon this, we have kind of shifted our trajectory in just offering traditional, you know, bachelor's and master's programs. And especially with the pandemic and people losing their jobs and not having the money necessarily to go back and get a full degree, you know, again, touching on offering things like micro-credentialing, which might take 3 months for somebody to complete, you know, and it's very affordable. And we've partnered with other organizations and other companies to say, what are you looking for in the industry? What are the skills that you feel that people coming out of WGU really can benefit from to excel in this space or in whatever career it is? And I think it really helps our students become career ready in a very alternative way that I really don't see a lot of other organizations offering. So, you know, there's a lot of things in the works right now that I won't discuss because they're not completely finalized, but just a lot of exciting things in the pipeline. And I think, again, we are very mission driven, very student driven. We listen to our students, and when we can, you know, we make really impactful changes to make sure that our students and our employees are successful.
Fantastic. Well, Ashley, thank you so much for joining me today. And again, thank you for all that you do for not only the WGU students, but also our WGU employees.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate being part of the WGU family. So thank you so much for this opportunity.